Good to have you back on Newsday. Kanaani is a story woven around the now popular exodus of young Nigerians as economic refugees to other countries, otherwise known as the Japa syndrome. Only that this time, this particular account is enmeshed in a gripping tale of love, sacrifice and resilience. Directed by Tola Olatunji, Kanaani premiered on Thursday, September 14th and hit the cinemas on the 15th. It has a stellar cast including Gabriel Afolayan, Rob Hudspeth, Ivie Okujaye and Joseph Benjamin, making it a celebration of multiculturalism and collaboration between Nollywood and Hollywood. It was produced by Nigerian-American writer and producer Jenifer Mairo, who now joins us. Good to have you with us on that. Hope I pronounced all the words correctly. Anyway,
yes, you did. Thank you for having me.
Very good. So, what is Kanaani and how does it portray the mood of the country currently?
So, Kanaani is a Swahili phrase, but theoretically it means the promised land, like Canaan in the Bible. In this film, we try to tell the story of young people who now have the intention of leaving Nigeria in hopes for a better life. Unfortunately, the main characters in the film do not, I guess, do their research, and then things didn't quite go the way they planned. And it's more than just, a jackpot story. It's more so about love and resilience. And it's more so about seeing the perspective of the families and loved ones of those people who have to jackpot. Yes.
Very good.
All right. The plot seems compelling, but I would like to find out what kind of research did you do to be able to probably flesh out this particular story?
Major research. Years of research, so to speak. The vision for Kanaani was birthed when the director, Tola Olatunji, was having just a one-on-one conversation with a victim of human trafficking. In fact, we were working on another project when he called and said, listen, it has to be this, so it's mirrored around someone's real life, but kind of twisted a little bit. So yes, we did do a lot of research, and I will say that Kanaani is totally different than every other, human trafficking story we've seen. It gets down and dirty.
Okay, it's a current affairs story, no doubt. So what kind of response are you hoping to get from this movie and, of course, your target audience here?
Yes, we're getting a lot of positive responses, and we still do hope to get more feedback. In fact, even from the international community, the U.S. Congress people and commissioners from cities across the U.S. are reaching out. We're having screenings around the world for Kanaani. I believe that is because the story is very strong and compelling, and a lot of people can connect with it. So yes, we want to get the response of, wow, this is great, or wow, we've learned something, and the production quality was fantastic. All in all, we want people to enjoy the film and still take the message home.
All right, in the modern landscape of film in Nigeria right now, distribution is a big deal. Understanding that it is also very closed. Understanding that if you're not going through probably Film One, Netflix, Amazon, it's almost difficult to get that kind of traction behind this.
Yeah.
Is this a YouTube kind of film? Because some people have decided to say YouTube seems to be the
safe space.
Yes, more democratic space for people to put out their body of work as against going through this other very, very stringent
forums.
Yes. So looking at it, so how are you planning to distribute this film so that it gets to the right target audience?
Yes, the film, thank you for that. The film is already being distributed in theaters by Film One. Not to knock on YouTube or anything, but we don't want to go the YouTube route just yet. It's going to be in theaters, and later we'll talk to the online streaming platforms and any other possible avenues. So we are not boxed in. We are not. We haven't ruled anything off the table, but as far as theater is concerned, Film One is handling that for us right now.
But online streaming platforms still sidelines more than half, if not as much as 70% of the audiences, because the reach, the access point is not as open as probably. Even YouTube is still very high because you would need quite a lot of data to be able to stream.
Yes, correct.
But even at that, it's still a little bit more liberal than online platforms like Netflix, Amazon, that you have to pay a subscription. Not too many Nigerians, if you look at the data, do have that access. So I always question that when you decide to do that, it helps the producers and the filmmakers on the upside because they get money for the movie,
Correct.
but the movie itself does not permeate and get to the target audience most of the time.
That's an interesting perspective. I guess I've not thought about it to that point. As far as we know, most of the people that are communicating with us and talking to us about it have been to the theaters. They are going. There are a lot of people in the U.S. and around the world are asking, oh, when will it be on Netflix? So I guess we haven't thought that far. At the end of the day, this is a business. We want people to see the film.
True.
But we will, we've invested a lot of time, money, expertise, energy into it. So maybe there's a time down the road where it would be on cassette or CD, where we'll pass it around in traffic and say, go watch. But for now, that's not, you know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
All right. So this is more of a dual scenario where Hollywood and Nollywood interfacing here. So, but generally, how would you rate the Nigerian movie industry right now in terms of churning out quality films, in terms of the kind of stories we try to project out there?
I think that Nollywood is growing. I mean, 10 years ago, I don't know if I could sit down and watch any film that came out of Nollywood, no offense to the producers. But now I think that we get it. I think we're trying to compete. We're submitting to major film festivals, and people are getting more and more interested just because the uniqueness of the African story, you just can't buy it. I could tell the same human trafficking story 50,000 ways, and people would still watch it. So I think Nollywood is growing. Yes, there is more room for us to grow. And like he was saying before, distribution kind of stifles how far people are willing to go and how much they're willing to invest. But, with a film like Kanaani, I dare say that we went all out. We didn't care too much about we weren't thinking about the money, like the, return on investment. Whenever we were going in, we were like, we will not compromise on anything. So Nollywood is growing, and, and we want to do more collaborations, because whenever we came to Nigeria to film, we got a lot of feedback from the crew members who were on set with us, and like, oh my God, your American crew, they taught us a lot, this and that. So if we can keep doing that and more people are investing and collaborating, I think it's gonna go far.
All right, looking at the ensemble, the cast stellar, I must say. Kudos to you and your team for putting that up. But talk to us about the dynamics, the difficulties you face, because you're not just talking about casts from one movie industry, but from multiple movie industries, trying to assimilate all of them and trying to blend all of them. What were the difficulties you faced on set? Did you run over budget as usual? Just give us a little backstory into what became this beautiful recipe ultimately.
Yeah, yes, over budget would be correct. And it wasn't easy. We filmed in the US, we filmed here, we flew crew from the US to come to join our Nollywood powerhouses to make it work. So for sure, it wasn't easy. We shot right after COVID, so we're running tons of COVID tests on everybody on set, just so we're safe. We had to get insurances for the crew members, and then of course, Ivy Okujai, who is the lead, had to fly to the US at some point. And, so it was mostly just logistics and schedule and timing and ensuring everybody was available. That was mostly the stress, apart from going over budget, of course.
Okay. Going over budget, but earlier you were not thinking about returns, as it were.
But there was still a budget that was supposed to be adhered to, and we didn't do a good job at that.
Well, it is part of the game. That's always part of the game, actually.
All right, but it's not only a problem here. Hopefully you can do this in about a minute or thereabout.
Yes.
It's not only a problem here, but even in the US as well. Would you say the cinema culture is gradually being eroded with other platforms like, as you mentioned, Netflix, Amazon, as it were? So what's the perspective here?
That question, we've argued about it behind the scenes. I just feel like for now, the cinema is the cinema, box office. It sounds very bourgeois if you're like, oh, my film made such and such in the box office. But I think the convenience of just going straight to a streaming platform is just what most people are leaning toward. This is our first major production in Nigeria, and we love that we're in the box office. We're excited about it, and we think we're going to do well.
All right. Jenifer, Mairo, I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you so
much. I'll be looking forward to seeing Kanaani, because I'm always interested in that kind of story, telling a human angle story, something that we all can relate to. Thank you very much for actually joining us here on Newsday. I wish you and your film all the best.
Thank you guys so much. Everybody go see Kanaani.
All right.
Thanks for coming.